Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. My name is Michael Dolphin. I'm the executive council member volunteer with AARP California, and welcome to everyone who's joining us. Today, we're here with our special guest and blues master, Chris Cain, to learn more about his journey with music and how you can catch his performance live during an upcoming virtual musical festival hosted by San Jose Jazz. We encourage you to share this stream on your own social media page so that interested friends and family may also tune in. And please feel free to ask questions for Chris or myself in the comments. We will take a few questions live toward the end of today's conversation. So as we get started with a few questions, Chris, ARP is thrilled to have you. And we know that this is great music we're talking about. And I want to tell you that I'm a fan, not just of you, but of this music in particular. I grew up with music. My dad owned a recording studio and a record label here in Los Angeles called Dolphins of Hollywood. So I grew up with all kinds of folks coming in and out. And I worked a short while as a musician. I worked with Lowell Folsom.
Good.
With Guitar Shorty and
Yes.
Terry Duron was like a brother to me. And I know you know all of those guys.
Yeah, I love them all.
That's what music and blues music is about. So we're on the same page. It's not just that, I popped up and I'm doing this. I love it just as much as you do.
I see.
But first of all, because it's the San Jose Jazz, welcome home.
Thank you.
I know that you grew up in the San Jose area, and
yes,
there's another part of it as well to kind of being home. It's almost like being in front of your own crowd, your own family, your own tribe, so to speak. It's different than being somewhere else.
It really has always been like that too,
Sure. Now I'm going to ask you to tell me a little bit about your music style and how you got your start in. I won't just say blues music because I've listened to a lot of your solos, and every now and then I hear a McCoy Tyner or a little bit of a Thelonious Monk or Grant Green, that kind of stuff. So I sometimes don't want to kind of pigeonhole you in blues because I know your ears are all over the place. Tell us how you got started in this.
Well, Michael, my father is a truck driver for Cancel Trucking, and he was born in Alexandria, Louisiana. And so when he was just before he was a teenager, he moved to Memphis and he moved to Beale Street. So he lived on Beale Street for a long while. And my great aunt, Ethel Vincent, she was the one that threw the Cotton Carnival Jubilee there in Memphis. And there's a sign there when I went to Beale Street, like talking about her. And so my father had all the good records, and he never missed B.B. King. When he would come around San Jose, and he would know where he would be without internet. And this is way before Thriller's gone and things, like at little clubs like the Swahili Room and things, And so he never missed B.B. King. And so I ended up never missing B.B. King because he would always come to the San Jose Civic Auditorium. So we'd always see B.B. King and Ray Charles when they came. And, he had all the good records, and he just kind of exposed me to it by taking me to the different gigs and just kind of sitting me in front of it, not really trying to sell me on it or anything. I was listening to my Beatle records and everything, but I noticed right away that B.B. King was something very special and was very nice always, like to, little ones and to just people in general. So every time we would see him, I would get a chance to just say hello to him or something. And he was always very kind. And so, anything my papa liked, that I wanted to try to, I didn't really have a plan of learning how to play the thing, but it just kind of took over. And that's what I ended up doing for the next, right now, I'm still doing it,
Mm-hmm.
But my father was the reason, anything he loved, I wanted to try to do. And, if I was playing my guitar and he came by my room and said, "Hey, dude, that sounds like B.B. King right now," I'd be like, "What?" It made me happy,
Yeah, Chris, I have my own analogies about what blues music is, but tell me what you think blues music is. What does it say?
It's just, I always thought of it as some really good feeling music. I never, I know that there is sometimes sad tales in it, but to me, it was always really good time music. And my folks would work all week really hard. My father was a truck driver. My mother worked at the university. And then when the weekend came, he would have his music on all the time. He would just have, if he was mowing the lawn, he would take out this speaker column that he got at the dump. It was a big, Shure speaker column. And he would just put that in the yard, and then he would mow the lawn like the push mower. He's beautiful. He loved music. And he wasn't a musician, but he learned how to play a little set of tunes, little arrangements he worked out. And then on Sunday, he would put his tie on and he would play his set like in the garage. He just loved he loved the music that much. And now thinking about it as like a grown person, I think it's amazing that he was able to just figure out these little arrangements of these tunes that, because he really didn't play guitar. And then he would just do his thing on the weekend. But that music to me always seemed like good time music. And the stuff that you would hear playing when the family's all together and just having a nice evening, I mean, just it became like the soundtrack of my life, really.
Mm-hmm. There's and I know I have to be careful because I can start this whole 2-hour conversation. For me, blues and gospel are the most truth-filled musics and genres there are, because they're both about life and they're both about things that come from your heart.
Definitely.
And they're both about places we've been.
Yes. But, and it's amazing because my father told me, he said, when I was little and he would let me play his guitar, he said, always put it back in the case when you're done. You can play it anytime you want. But he would always say, now, baby, if you don't feel it, don't do it. So even as a little boy, I was always thinking, if I don't feel it, then, and so I always, from that time, always connected my emotions to it. And that was just a beautiful ride always for me, come home from school every day and just play until mama say time to eat,
Yeah, it is. And I think the thing that folks not as familiar with the music don't always get is that there's just as much improvisation going on as in any other genre. And I know you taught jazz for a while at a college.
Yes, I did. It was I was very lucky to be in this situation where they trusted me enough to go into a room and show these folks some stuff. But I really learned more, I think, than they did. But it was like beautiful to because in college it would be like ladies that was like somebody's mom or something. She hadn't really played in years, but she was trying to get a few credits, so she'd come to the college and take, got her instrument, and to see them just bloom, as you would like explain things to them, and they would get more fluent in the thing. I would go home in tears sometimes because I would just see everybody would be so happy, at the end of the class. Now, sometimes they were confused at the end, but it was just beautiful. I mean, I feel through my life, I've been very lucky to have these situations where either a teacher mentored me and took me under their wing or something, and saw that I was kind of scuffling to understand all these concepts. But I've just been really, really lucky.
Yeah, life is about mentorship in many ways.
Definitely.
In many ways. This pandemic has put us into a new world. And one of the things that is different from a large part of the world is that music is about being in front of a crowd. It's about being in the same room with the people who love your music.
Yeah,
and so now playing virtually is so different.
Oh my God.
Though we got you set up, you're going to be doing virtually as part of the San Jose Jazz New Works Fest on Thursday, May 6th at 7:30 p.m. Just to remind folks, take note. We encourage everyone to join. But how has that impacted you as a musician?
Oh, well, I'm just so used to playing for people and things that, almost a year went by before we even thought we would play in front of some people. But we did a couple of live streams where it's just us and a camera. And I just, I would end the tune and then I looked like somebody was holding a gun on me or something. I'd be like, and then I'd do the next tune. I wouldn't say anything. I didn't know what to do. And Susie, my gal, finally started coming and saying, "Listen, I'll be right over there by the camera if just so I could," because I really, I mean, I was lost without having people there. It's just a man with a camera, and I look like, if my father would have saw that, he would have said, "Dude, you look like somebody had a rifle on you," because I was just, I didn't know what to do. And not to see people you love for like a year almost, it's just I've never experienced anything like, nobody has experienced anything like this. It's been really and I didn't know what to do with myself, and then I realized it'd probably be a good time to practice, because I mean, I figured, if this much time goes by and I don't play any better, I have no excuse, because I had plenty of time on my hands. But it has been really something that I had to kind of wrap my head around, because I just didn't know what to do with myself all this time. It was like, it was kind of just really just bouncing off the walls for a while. And then I realized I should probably just go into my studio and just write and just do something positive. I didn't watch a lot of television because it was horrible,
Amazing stuff. And so to our audience, I want to say, if you're not aware, San Jose Jazz, we've mentioned it a couple of times, but it's a public benefit corporation that celebrates jazz music, blues music, ethnic music through events, education, and more. Is hosting the virtual music festival that kicks off today, April 29th, and runs through Saturday, May the 8th, with Chris's performances on Thursday, May 6th at 7:30 p.m. The festival will showcase 11 artists over 3 evenings. Tickets are just $10 a night or $20 for an all streams pass. And the fest also includes a free International Jazz Day live stream on April 30th. So technically, that's 4 nights total of great music. ARP, we're so proud to be a sponsor of the series, and we invite you all to learn more at sanjosejazz.org. Now, we want to take a few minutes. We want you to hear Chris. So not just a conversation, but Chris doing what Chris does. So how about a few minutes of a video coming up? You'll know what to expect for the San Diego Works Fest.
Will you wait for me till summer? If it's really true, you don't have to wonder, 'cause I'll be waiting for you, my love. I believe in destiny, nothing is random. I never been down on one knee unless I heard the anthem. Baby girl, you killing them, sweet little assassin. We kicked it a couple times, can we make this a habit? Let's forget our problems, you can be my distraction. I'll be shooting my shot with the strength of a cannon. I confess I need you, please be my companion. Steph and Aisha, we can be that perfect tandem. Listen to the rhythms, you banger gon' get you dancing and laughing. Help you get your mind off this madness. I rock with you, Mike Jackson. You got me feeling so high that I can't see myself landing. I know we had plans of doing something romantic. Fly restaurants, concerts, and museums that we don't have to abandon. We can make it happen. You know what they say, to everything there is a season. Will you wait for me till summer? If it's really true, you don't have to wonder, 'cause I'll be waiting for you, my love. This gon' be the best summer of your life. I'ma put that in the air, me and you. Where should we fly? Paradise, somewhere on the other side of the planet. White sand, blue cocktail, something exotic. Go ahead and plan it. We gotta take our chances. Life too short, Tasha, yeah, that's my family. We gotta understand it. Seem like we met in another life. Maybe I was a knight and you was a damsel. In distress, don't trip, don't stress. We can handle every situation. It's a test and I got the answers. First, you gotta trust that lead to comfort and pleasure. Put your mind at ease, I protect you. This winter was the coldest ever. Spring changed our lives forever. And I ain't playing no more games, NBA schedule. Everything been cool since I met you, but tell me how you're feeling June, but no pressure. Will you wait for me till summer? If it's really true, you don't have to wonder, 'cause I'll be waiting for you. I'll be waiting for you, my love. I'll be waiting for you, my love.
Nice.
So now you got an idea of what the San Jose New Works Jazz Fest is about. And by the way, gorgeous photos of different parts of San Jose and the art installations and so on. Just a beautiful place to be.
It was.
Now, there is something special, Chris, because you were asked to prepare and a newly commissioned work that we played during the festival. Can you tell us a bit more about Miss My Friends?
Yeah, well, you asked me about the pandemic, and it was like when they came, and I was totally stunned when they asked me to write something, and it was beautiful. I mean, at that point, I had just been kind of trying to figure out what to do with my days, and uh, then this came along, and it was beautiful because I really didn't have to think that much. It was like suddenly it just came to me that like the song was going to be something about the fact that we can't see anybody we love right now. So I was starting to get really kind of emotional by the fact that you just never see any of the people you love. It's like you can talk to them on the phone, but it's just not the same to be in a crowd of people laughing and things. And so I wrote this song. It came to me very easily. It was just because we were in the middle of this whole thing, and it was like, and it just seemed to flow out of me. And I was going to write another one just in case that wasn't the tune but when I got done, I thought this is pretty heartfelt, and I think it's kind of a universal. Everybody's kind of feeling that right now, have been. So that's how it happened, and it just came very quickly, and it was beautiful that I could go to Kid Anderson's and do it at his studio because he's just a kind of a visionary, and he knows what you're going to try to do before you even do it. And so he made it possible and the way he filmed it and things, it was just beautiful. I mean, I had fun doing it, and I was really proud that they chose and liked it,
Yeah, I get it. And, honest, I get it. I get it. Miss My Friends. I think we've all kind of been there and maybe not had the best opportunity to say it, but we're going to let you say it for us. How about a little bit of the video of Miss My Friends by Chris Cain?
Thank you, Michael.
1, 2, 3, 4. Don't miss being stuck in traffic. Really don't miss the airport flights. Don't miss the people's problems. I miss my friends. Don't miss people that like to argue or milkshakes at 3 a.m. I don't miss the road rage, but I miss my friends. Oh, I miss my friends.
I can't wait to see the rest of it. And I got a comment, by the way. Those of us who know a Wurlitzer is an absolute sound of its own. We can talk about electric pianos, but a Fender Rhodes is not a Wurlitzer, and a Wurlitzer is not a Fender Rhodes. And for those of who've been Ray Charles fans for so long, we remember that Wurlitzer from Ray Charles's big hit record. Yeah, back in those days.
Man, I'm telling you, Ray Charles at my house was like, the man. And my folks would never miss him when he came, and it just was a beautiful inspiration to me always.
Yeah, always. My goodness. And by that, I do have to mention again, just kind of that feedback thing. You mentioned your dad a couple of times. And I feel the same way about my dad. The gift that I got from my dad were these ears. And I appreciate it. I know exactly what you mean in those
ways. We're like, it's a very similar tale, because and it's beautiful that your father had like the studio, because you could see what goes on to create this music. I mean, it's like you kind of already had an understanding of what goes on in a room like that, and it's interesting how, when you do start to go to studios, it's life-changing, really.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely is. Thank you for that. Where can folks learn more about your music and your upcoming performances?
There's a website, Chris Cain International Blues, and it has a lot of the information and things there, as well as like, clips you can watch and things like that.
Good. And there are a lot of your videos on YouTube.
Yes.
Lots of them on YouTube. Some things from previous albums and previous performances. By the way, I got to tell you, My Mood is one of my favorites.
Oh, yeah, that was my mama's favorite, so I would
I
always play that because she loved that, Thank you.
I love that too. It's been a while since you've done that, but I love that
Yeah,
too. I
I
love
did
that
too.
too.
We started playing it again, so we'll probably be playing that a little more often.
Sure. Good. Good. So
Thank you,
we've
Mike.
got a time to take a few questions, and I have questions from a couple of viewers. Here's one. Chris, do you have any advice for artists and musicians who have chosen to make San Jose their home?
All my life I heard that, like you should go to San Francisco or go to somewhere else than San Jose because there's no music scene there. But there was a music scene there, and now it's pretty clear that there are people in San Jose that can play and things. And I would say just to follow your heart. I mean, I was not really smart enough to realize that I probably shouldn't be doing what I was doing. But I was young, and I would write letters to like Ray Charles, dear Ray Charles, blah blah blah. I mean, I was like a dreamer, and I would just say, just follow your dream always, because I think I would have felt uh, disappointed if I would have just kind of kiboshed this guitar dream. But I didn't really have a plan. It just unfolded, and I just love to play it. So that's how it worked out. But I would say just follow your dream, and you know, um, I think everything always works out fine if you do that, and you don't have any disappointment really.
Sure. And the media these days with social media and stuff, if you want to hear West African music, it's available a lot more than it was a few years ago when
Yeah,
you're
it
looking
is.
at developing your sound and that sort of thing for musicians
Oh, it's
as well.
fantastic. I mean, it's just really, if I would have had the stuff that's going on now, I don't know because I mean, you can actually turn on the guy will show you exactly how to play your alto saxophone,
Mhm.
how to do this, how to, and it's beautiful. I mean, I really, I mean, there's some things about it that are, because it can be used for crummy stuff too. But yeah, I think YouTube. I mean, and that whole thing of just tutorials and things. There's just so many ways that you can, learn. Like you don't have to even leave your house,
Mhm.
if you choose.
Yeah, great. Someone was paying attention. Chris, I see you play piano and guitar. And what instruments do you play? And what's your favorite?
Well, I play guitar and keyboards and clarinet and saxophone. When I was in college, I took clarinet for a long time, and I was playing my saxophone with my band for years, and then I just felt like I was dabbling, so I stopped that. But then when this whole thing happened, I ordered a little cheap alto saxophone on Amazon, and so I've been practicing that, trying to, but and I can't understand why I was able to play it a few years ago, and now it sounds like people are going to come from other homes and say, "Stop that, please." So,
Mhm.
but yeah, it's like I think saxophone is a fun instrument, but guitar is always going to be my favorite, and piano because what I love about the piano is that you just have all the notes there. You can, with both hands, you can be the band if you want. You can hear
Mhm.
where everything is like in an arrangement. I mean, I spend a lot of time listening to arrangements on a record and then trying to copy them with my synthesizer and find out where the trumpets are and where I just do that for fun, and it's really fun for me to do that. But yeah, I just think practicing is like a therapy.
Yeah, yeah. That leads me to thinking. And I was thinking about it earlier, and particularly because I know the guitar players that you listen to. I mean, if it's BB King or Grant Green or Albert King or even Wes Montgomery, those of us who love the art, we know who it is in 4 bars or less because of that sound. And part of that sound, and particularly for you, and as well for you, I've noticed, is the guitar you choose and how that impacts your sound. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Sure. My brother bought me my first Gibson. It was a SG Standard, like Carlos Santana played at Woodstock kind of, and a solid body. And I love that guitar. I wouldn't take $1 million for it, but as I went on, I realized that this semi-hollow guitar that I play now, the 335, the BB King that kind of style, just has a sing to it that was different than other guitars, and it turns out that the amplifier that I own just palled up with that guitar so well that, like, the two of them, sometimes it doesn't work out that way, but the sound is such an important part of playing. If you don't get the sound that you hear in your head on your instrument, it can drive you mad. But I got very lucky that the amplifier that I chose just palled up with that guitar so well that, I really never felt the need to buy another amplifier. And I've been, the guys ask me all the time, they say, is that still the amplifier that you were playing with back in 1980? It's like, yeah, it's like, just, it's very comfortable to just be able to get your sound that you hear in your head. And that just, facilitates any kind of creativity right away,
Yeah, but it's not a static sound, because the other thing I do my homework, Chris. So the other thing I know is you play guitar like B3 players play organ. There is no solid setting throughout every run.
Yeah.
And I know we'll talk about that a little bit.
Well, I always wear out the one volume knob on my guitar because I don't use any pedals or anything. And so I'm always turning it up and down as I go, when I want to, instead of just, because I always felt like you step on that pedal. It's just such a calculated, deliberate thing. Now I'm going to play a solo or stomp on my pedal. So I never liked that, so I never used any pedals. It's just, to try to get your sound, sometimes it takes a little more volume to get a little sing in it. And then when you're singing, I would just bring it back down. But the wires in there are like human hair. I mean, so all this just, I always have to replace those. But that's how I deal with changing your volume from low to high. And I just feel that, like, when I used to see BB King as a kid and things, they break it down to a whisper. Then they, the dynamics of, how he would play the blues and jazz. The dynamics are such an important part of, it doesn't just stay at, you know what I mean? And so I always love that. And I just, it's not good for the knob, but it's just how I can get back and forth to,
That's and that is amazing, because and I won't make any comment about pedals and crutches, and I don't mean to say that, but it is impactful that you use your guitar itself to make your change, and not the pedals. And I think for people who have not considered that, I mean, you look at other guitar players, if you see them live on stage, they're 20 pedals. And
I tell some pals of mine sometimes, I say, you should just, and it's like the thought of, like, not even having reverb on there, they'll freak out. They're just like, I can never do that, But I mean, I just felt that it was like beautiful to hear just the sound of the guitar. I mean, after you see BB King play like that, and you see that it's just him, his hands, and the little amplifier, it makes an impact. You say, and I mean, when I was a teenager, I did borrow a pal's wah-wah pedal, and just to see what that was like. But I just never, I just never wanted to cover up the sound of the guitar with stuff.
Sure. And I have to be careful. I did mean to diss pedals. It's just a different style of playing. Yeah, that was me. That was on me, and I just wanted to be sure I didn't do that.
Well, I really watch what I say around those characters too, because they but I mean, they'll look at you like, you don't have any reverb, you don't have any, it's like, how could you do that? But I just always have thought that I think after playing the clarinet, I started to realize that the instrument's sound on its own is I mean, because the clarinet definitely is not like most people's choice. It's like a violin. If you don't play it well, it could be a problem, But I just always loved the sound of the instrument, and that's what I love about like with jazz players that play. Sometimes like Phil Woods or somebody wouldn't even use a microphone; like they just play the acoustic just the way it sounds, and it's beautiful,
Yeah, yeah, and I'm glad you circled back around and you mentioned the jazz thing, because I really want to hear all of Miss My Friends. But the other thing that really stood out for me, and maybe not as noticeable to others, is one, the acoustic sound that you were using for that recording, including that I think most folks don't think of blues and an upright bass. Even though if you know blues, it was upright bass in the very beginning,
Oh man, yeah.
and just that whole sound. So was it convenient, or was that building on the acoustic sound is what you were intending to do?
Oh yeah, well, Kid Anderson, he's like a visionary, and there are some things on the records that like I knew in my head what it was, but he would know, and he would facilitate getting that sound or whatever. And so he saw right away that it was kind of like definitely a Ray Charlesy kind of a thing, and just really felt it like like on those records that he did on Atlantic and stuff. It's like Edgar Willis on the acoustic stand-up bass, and so it's like the Wurlitzer. It's a distinctive sound that like when I bought a Rhodes, I thought that was the keyboard that got the Wurlitzer sound, right? And so I got my Rhodes, and I was like, but it doesn't sound like Donnie had. It does, you know what I mean? And then I found out about this Wurlitzer thing, and I was like, oh, I didn't know that was it. But the Wurlitzer is definitely a flavor that it goes good with everything,
Yeah, it is that kind of almost funky sound that a
Yeah.
Wurlitzer has. It's just a little bit raw, while the Rose is sweet.
Yeah, the Rhodes starts sound like bells, and that
Yes.
Wurlitzer, I don't know, but it's got funk in it. It's just like ooh,
Yeah, just a little kind of like the difference between an upright piano and a grand piano.
Yes.
If you listen enough to be able to hear the difference, and there's so many things about that we could talk about.
Oh my
I
God.
wanted I have to come up and have coffee with you, and we can talk for 3 hours.
Oh, Michael, that'd be great.
I would look forward to doing that. Wow. Yeah, I would look forward to doing that. I don't know how I don't know how much interested other people would be, but I would definitely be interested in me and you.
Yeah, it'd be great.
So let me thank you for the time here and spent with us on the ARP channel and talking about the San Jose New Works Jazz Fest. And we want to let you know, if you joined us late, that we've been spending the morning with blues master Chris Cain about his music and the San Jose Jazz New Works Fest. And it's recorded. So if you missed anything, you can go back and watch it on ARP California's Facebook or YouTube accounts. We want you to know that you can find Chris Cain and find more about his work at chriscainmusic.com. You can also find it at alligatorrecords.com. Bruce Iglauer has added some very nice notes to that page when he talks about the artists on Alligator Records. And to learn more about the San Jose Jazz New Works Fest, visit sanjosejazz.org. sanjosejazz.org. Chris, thanks for joining us today. It's been a pleasure. It's been an absolute pleasure. I mean that sincerely.
Thank you, Michael.
And to our viewers, we hope you'll have a wonderful day, and thank you for joining us live. And stay safe and be careful, and the clouds are opening and the pandemic will pass.
Yes. Thank you, Michael.